We are live. I'm David Bowles. This is Bowles.tv, BOLES.tv. We are here live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. Now you may be wondering why I'm slumping, why I'm not showing you my sitting hair. No. I'm not sitting like a superhero, although I should be. Weak things break. No, my friend. As we're getting ready to go on the air, it's been a wild morning. Lots of things to share, lots of dirty, awful things to talk about. And then, as we're getting ready for the show, I'm looking at my beautiful, ugly face, and I see all these red marks. Now, I sometimes have red marks. Some of them are broken blood vessels from the sun and not from drinking. Everybody think, oh, you broken blood vessels, that's a drunk. No, not usually. Can be, but not usually. It's usually from the sun damage. As you get older, you're going to get them. But I have new red marks all over the side of my face that maybe you can't see on this camera. But they were self-inflicted, involuntarily, I don't know, by the device I'm about to show you, which is why I'm sitting this way, because it's on my lap. And this device that reddened my face this morning is a 50-pound bag of sand. In addition to my kettlebell workouts, I also, I don't want to say pound sand. Maybe I am. I'm lifting sand and hefting sand. Why? Why would you do that with sand? Because sand, especially in a bag, like I'm going to show you, is highly unstable, even though it's in an enclosed compass. So you're lifting it is like a real world workout if you worked at a dock or something, or lifting boxes, or, loading something like a real person should do. But when you're stuck at home writing things all day, you sort of need some real life workouts. So you're lifting something that's unbalanced and heavy, and sometimes when you're lifting it from the floor and you put it on your shoulder, right in the face. So my bag got me this morning. And now I'm going to show you my bag. My sandbag. And I think I'm going to take this off because it's very big. This is my sandbag. Now the bag is made by brute force. The sand, believe it or not, very affordable. Sometimes hard to find. 50 pounds of sand is $1, I think 17. But getting it shipped to you is $100. But we got a very good deal on this sand. I believe it was from Walmart. And they delivered a big bag of 50 pounds of sand. And I transferred it safely to this bag that you're going to see now. On my shoulder. This is what I did this morning. A little heavy. And it has these wonderful handles on the ends, on both sides. And then you put this down on the ground, pretending I'm putting it on the ground. And then you lift it on the other side. It goes up. And then when you get really fancy, then you do a deep knee bend, and you put it down, and then you do it all over again. And you can lift like this, and when you're lifting like this, the sandbag goes like that. So it's very hard to control. 50 pounds of sand. 50 pounds of sand. I'm putting it down now. Boy, I knocked off my pillow. And the pillow's all done with magnets, so it should look okay. Oh, it's cute. So there you have it, my friend. A very brief 50-pound sandbag workout. And it will tire you out. And the sand does, even though it's enclosed in a thing, in the bag itself, it still shifts. It's not a dumbbell where you can predict exactly what it's going to do. And one of the reasons you like to use kettlebells is because they're strange. They're a great big ball of iron with a handle. So you pick that up, and it tends to move on you, which is good because you want to test and make sure that your body is completely stabilized. So that's why I have red marks on my face, if you're able to even see them. But I do recommend the Sandbag Challenge. It will take you very far in a very small amount of time. So what else is going on in the news today? Oh boy. We're going to talk about what's going on with Discord and the Me6 bot. Yeesh. Whoosh. Reputations can be damaged in a day if you're not careful. And you can resurrect them, but it takes much longer than a day. Once the damage has been done and the assumptions have been made, good luck. But before we get to that, we updated our merch store yesterday to add back some fun that had been missing. And as you can see, we have some very fun, silly things all ready to go. Oh boy, I'm messing it all up already. I want to say it's Monday, but it's not Monday. So these are the standards we've had in our merch store. bowlsby.com/merch. And you scroll down, there's Jana Marie. Here are the new ones we have. I have Jana Marie signing some interesting things. Back by popular demand. These are images we originally took for our hand jive book, written many years ago. You can download and read for free from Hardcore ASL and bowlsbook.com. So these are very old images of a very young and beautiful woman still. But that's why you might recognize the shirt and the movements, because these are from our book. From Metro Books, published by, believe it or not, Barnes & Noble. Yes, they had their own publishing arm at one time before the whole book business went belly up. And here are our newer images of the delightful Jana Marie and the monster you're speaking with right now. And we made these into shirts by popular demand. Now, the popular demand for this shirt may have come from me, and the popular demand for this shirt may have come from Jana Marie. I'm not saying. But they're there, ready for the celebration. And here we go with the plastic glasses, the red glasses of the Jana Marie, and the man with the red plastic glasses matching the self-inflicted sandbag damage from this morning. And there's Jana Marie. This is her incognito presence as Mario, the international man of sign language. And in a private tutoring session with a wonderful, wonderful student named Mark, Mario made his first debut. And Mario went all around the world, about 20 different countries, and taught the signs from those countries. And these signs are not universal. It's American Sign Language, not British Sign Language, because British Sign Language is BSL. British Sign Language. There's African Sign Language. There's Portuguese Sign Language. All over the world. Fun. Neat stuff. Had a wonderful time. And more beautiful Jen Marie there for the deliciousness and the delight. So that's our updated merch store. And we thank you so much for being here. Available for purchase immediately. We have a Discord server. I'll give you the link right now. And we are using that to take our conversation 24/7. You can come and say hello. You can join our voice chat that's going on right now, as you can see right here. That's voice chat. You can join. It's a secret channel, but if you email me, I'll let you know what it is, because we can't just let anybody in, because when you're in and you turn on your microphone, people can hear you. But it's a very interesting way to host a live stream where I can talk and you can talk back to me and we have a conversation. And also offline conversation and posting images that are related to this stream and Jan Marie's stream on the weekend. And hey, it's a big party. And as I've discussed several times in the past few days, Discord relies on bots to manage a server. There are good bots, there are bad bots. The good bots tend to combat the bad bots. But sometimes the good bots get compromised, or at least they appear to become compromised, and the whole thing gets very messy. So one of the bots that we have great affection for is called Me6, M-E-E, numeral 6. And they recently had a big NFT sale where you could buy an NFT from MeBot, and that gives you premium services from their bot. It will give you eventually an avatar. And they were selling them anywhere from 0.18 to 0.20 to 5 to generate interest in becoming part of the Me6 family. Okay, it's a good. I invested. It was an interesting moment in time. And we're waiting for the avatars. Some people have been waiting a couple of months for all of this to go forward. And the creators of Me6bot live in France. So when they're awake, most of America is sleeping. And when most of America is sleeping, they're awake. So it's very hard, if you're on Discord, to try to bridge that time continuing gap, because they're not there. They're there, but they're sleeping. Or they're out of town, they're working on stuff. So it makes communication delayed in many bad ways. But there's nothing you can do about it. It's just where people live. So it looks like overnight, our time, in our experience, there was some kind of weird thing that happened with Discord, and it appears specifically the Me6 bot. The Me6 hack. New account hacking method. The recent Discord hacks utilizing the Me6 bot and compromised admin accounts. What? How could it be? Well, this is what this person said. First, the bad people, and these are not bots, these are real people. They'll hack into an admin account. Then they'll create a reaction role feature from Me6 to give an alternate account admin, which is big access to a server. Using the method, they will be able to send webhook messages while hiding who the compromised administrator account is. Now, that's very sophisticated. Now, is this a Discord problem or is this a Me6 problem? These are the questions that have been raging all morning on Discord and Twitter. And it's interesting that people are having this conversation on Twitter. They're not having it on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. It's on Twitter. Making it more difficult to stop the attack. The best way is to remove Me6 and the webhooks right away. Excuse me, rather than trying to identify the compromised account. Because when you are a server owner, you don't know exactly whose account has been compromised because they're hiding it by sending in secret messages via a webhook. So there is this new social engineering method that is very convincing. This is targeting mainly higher-ups in projects, which is important people on Discord-hosted servers. Two things that they use: collaboration requests with high-scale projects offering job opportunities. Now, this is an example. Oh, it's hard to read. This is an example of what this looks like, where you will get a message saying, hey, you want to collab with us? If so, come and join this server. Okay. That happens a lot. And they will seem quite convincing. And that example that was posted there of that fake invite is absolutely convincing. It's charming. It's, we might even need to pay you a little bit, but just come over and join our server so we can start a conversation. Well, wow, okay, I'll go over there, click. That's not where you get in trouble, though. Then they will get you into their Discord server. And this is where it starts to happen. There will be a fake verification bot. And that bot will most likely be imitating a captcha bot or Mr. Wickbot. The server will have members already, so it looks completely legitimate, and if you want to join a server like our server, you have to fill out a captcha. How do you know if you're filling out a good captcha or a bad captcha? Welcome to verification. Now, this looks like the Wickbot, Mr. Wickbot. This is not the Wickbot. This is made to look like a Wickbot. And then, once you interact with these fake bots, they snag your Discord token, giving them instant access to your account with your two-factor, without, this is the important part, without needing two-factor authentication, or even your password. So it's all about this Discord token, which is why some people are saying, look, this is not a bot problem, this is a Discord problem, because people can trick you into giving over your Discord token without you knowing it. And how can you prevent this from happening? And this is just if you run your own server. If you're just part of a server, this doesn't affect you at all. How to prevent? Well, always verify the legitimacy of who you are speaking with and why. And that means bots, that means invites. If you're curious who this person is, why they're bothering you, then you say, hey, who are you? And you verify what's going on. You can ask the person you are working with to be auto-rolled. Okay? So that means I'll join your server, but I'm not going to fill out a captcha. Turn that off. Let me join your server, and then you give me a role. I'm not applying for a role. I'm not going to go through a verification process. It's very smart. 99% of the people will never say that because they don't know how to do it. They don't know what it means. And this person then says, hey, stay safe, everyone. And on Twitter, it continues. Lots of high-profile Discords, naming the Discord servers that have been affected. One of them is Cool Cat's big server. They've all been hacked within the last hour. To be safe, I recommend removing Me6 from your servers. Here are my personal insights on the situation. Audit logs from the RTFKT server. And I'm not accusing anyone or anything. This thread is purely my personal opinion. Okay, fair. Doesn't want to look like it's beating up on Me6. Only one person has access to the Me6 dashboard, and they are very cautious with security. Usually it's called a cold account. meaning it's not used for anything online except for one thing, to make sure the server is secure. Okay, so this is their proof that the Me6 bot, doing its job, is adding roles. Adding a role bot, adding a role member, adding a role whatever. They want that private. Fine. That's what MeBot can do, but it doesn't do it on its own. It has to be ordered to do that by somebody, which is where it gets a little weird. The Me6 team is claiming, hey, Me6 was, is, and never will be compromised. They tweeted that, Me6 team. These attacks may be replicated with the reaction roles and timers features in Me6, but I find it hard to believe that all these high-profile servers, this person says, not Me6, I find it hard to believe all these high-profile servers were hacked all at the same time. What I believe this person says is the Me6 is not hacked. I do believe there is something going on here. Same thing with Ticket Tool, which is another bot, which is a wonderful bot. It allows you to open tickets, have people on your server open a trouble ticket, say, hey, I need help with this, and it immediately goes private. You can go back and forth, open the ticket, close the ticket. It's fabulous. It's on our server. Way down at the bottom, near support. So this may be a stretch, and I'm not claiming this to be true, but in my personal opinion, unless we can find one cause of a compromised admin from one of these attacks, I would not be surprised if these bot attacks were briberies. So this person thinks that somebody went out and bribed people on these servers to get in and get access, which is very interesting and perhaps the right answer and perhaps not. We've just started this conversation, and we're going to continue it in a moment, when we shall return from a blood pressure break. Back in a moment. And we're back from break. I'm David Bowles. This is Bowles.tv. Still recovering from punching myself in the face with my sandbag. It's been an interesting morning so far. And we are live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. And now we are continuing our fascinating, dramatic reading of what happened on Discord with the Me6 bot. So let's go right back to the Twitter feed and find out what is going on with Liz. Earlier tonight, this all happened overnight. You woke up with the world on fire. Memeland, CloneX, PXN, RTFKT, and Moonbird Discord servers were compromised. In the following tweets, I'll be going over what we know, addressing claims from members of the communities, and explaining my perspective on the hack. This is just a person who's a security person. This is not anybody involved on the Me6 side or the Discord side. To start, we need to recognize it was all of these servers who were hacked and no one else from what we know so far. While briefly looking at the 6 above, we realize that CloneX and RTFK are on this list. This is something we don't want to miss because both servers are operated by the RTFKT team, meaning that there are people who have high perms, in both servers. So only one person would need to be compromised to attack both communities. Along with that, there are claims that the Me6 bot is the culprit of the attacks. And while it is easy to blame the bot from the surface, if you've ever worked with it in their team, you'll know the bot wasn't the weak link. Otherwise, almost all projects would have been hit at once. Gordon says, did you see that the actor Seth Green fell for a phishing scam and lost 4 NFTs? I did not see that, Gordon. And the Discord MeBot has 17 million server installs. And 90% of those servers are NFT servers, which means that's why they're being gone after, because people want to steal NFTs. Because people need money, because Ethereum is crashing and Bitcoin is crashing, and they think they get a nice high-priced NFT they can sell for half price. It's all money in their pocket. But if for some reason this claim isn't enough for you here are some screenshots from Memeland, where the hacker uses a command and then has roles applied. Very interesting. I hope I can see these. Okay, so here we go. We saw a little bit of this before from someone else's server. Me6 bot added a role, bot commander, bot permissions, bots. Okay, scary stuff if it's not actually someone on the server doing it. And then, here you go. This is the test. This is a test. Do I have access in general and Web3? Do I have access and forever alone? Okay, so you see the bad actors going for it, testing to see if their infiltration worked. Although someone would need to do this to get this far would be to get access through an account that has bot permissions. Then set up the command and use it, making it seem that the Me6 bot has been hacked without revealing the account they used to get this far. Gordon says possibly when you can look this up once you're done with the discussion. Okay. Now that they've gotten the roles and permissions required, each hack can be approached however they want. Maybe it's manually sending messages, setting up an auto message with Me6, or simply publishing through the bot now that they have access since they're able to cover their tracks. So that's what we talked about before the break, is they get admin privileges, but they don't send any messages under an account. They send it through a webhook. And the webhook message looks authentic, but the person receiving the message can't see exactly who it's coming from. In the end, today's events prove that scammers are willing to go the extra mile to cause the most damage. They don't care about how long it takes to set something up, meaning this has probably been in the works for a long time. And once they have access to someone's account, it will stay compromised until the original owner takes action. Tonight's hack could have easily been in the works for a while now, and until each of the servers affected puts out a proper response, we won't know truly what happened. Looking back, the only thing we can truly count on is the fact that Me6 was not the root cause, especially since more servers would have been affected if it were. And we would have heard if something from the developers and the support server by now if this was a Me6 problem. Especially since they're currently building out their own Web3 community, which they are, which I showed you, the NFTs that I have from Me6, based around crypto-focused tools for the bot. Plus, no one is willing to risk it like that when they're already investing to help people build up their community. If for some reason you made it this far in this thread, I would like to thank you for reading, along with a quick reminder that this is strictly my observation and opinion. Hopefully the projects affected can release reports soon so we can all work to make Web3 a safer place. And then this happened, just right before we went on the air. From Me6. Some servers have reported Me6 being used to post unwanted messages. There is no technical breach in our systems. However, this is where the punch in the face comes. This was due to one of our employees' account getting compromised. So it was a Me6 problem. And it took them many, 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 many hours for them to admit this. They say the issue is now fixed, and we've taken all the steps to make sure it never happens again. And people are already furiously asking, why was this allowed to happen in the first place? And why were you not more proactive, either in defending yourself or in saying, look, we had some employee who got fished on, got the information taken, and we're sorry? Sure, it's good they're finally admitting it, but my goodness, the fire burned them into the ground for 6 hours where they didn't say anything. And there are people who live in France saying, look, Me6 is a French company. They've been infiltrated. They are now going to have to answer and have a moratorium, a morgue session about what happened and why. They're going to have to explain themselves to the authorities. And then we get this in response to what we just read. Well, that solves the problem how Me6 was compromised. This is the problem with centralized general-purpose Discord bots. Seriously considering splitting Me6 down into individual open-sourced bots for projects to self-host. Feels like the Web3 way. It's very interesting. Also, unwanted messages, a little bit of an understatement. It's a problem. Me6 doesn't realize the power it currently has in our ecosystem. And there you go. And people are saying, well, why would they do this? And somebody on Twitter, somehow, I guess looking at their server logs, figured out one of the people who was involved in this big scam. And they said, how much did you get? And the person responded, I guess they didn't have any fear, said, well, millions, but I got a very small part of it. I'm not happy. Now, somebody else also said, look, one of the Ethereum wallets that's involved in this scam, overnight, from 0 Ethereum to 105 Ethereum. So that's between $250,000, $300,000 made in 6 hours with this compromise. And how do they do it? They go on there, they make you verify, and if you're in an NFT community and you purchase one of their expensive NFTs, the servers want you to verify your collection so they can look through automation and bots to see if you're actually a holder, is what they call it, a holder of one of their NFTs. And if you are, then you get special privileges and special access and special backroom things on their server. So that, and then you get whitelisted for future sales. It's a big thing. People want to become verified, and it's all verified through these bots. So if you have access to the server, and you can then install and fake out one of your own verification bots to verify that your Ethereum wallet really is what it is, and you have to grant access for the bot to look at your assets. And instead of verifying your assets, the bot steals all of your assets. Well, that's how you make 105 Ethereum in 6 hours. So this is a big, bloody, burning mess on Me6. They just finished this big opportunity to have premium for life and to get access to Web3 services and new avatars, and it's now all blown up in their face. And they just didn't react fast enough. For 2 hours, their PR guy has been on Discord saying, oh, we don't know what to do. Later today, we're going to make an announcement. And I even replied. I said, look, you can't wait till later today. You can't let another half day go by. You are on fire. If this is not true, you need to go out there and say, look, these are lies. Please take down your tweet and be proactive and punch back. And then about 45 minutes after that, we get that thing from me saying, oh, hey, it was our own employee. Oh, that's a bad look. Because people will naturally say, why didn't you have that protection there before this happened? You're supposed to be our security front. You're supposed to block things from happening. And instead, you let this happen. Here's Gordon's link from Seth Green. And Seth Green, let's see if we can get a picture of him. In case you don't know, is a very interesting actor, very recognizable face. Fun guy, talented, works a lot. Seth Green says, well, friends, it happened to me. Got fished and had 4 NFTs stolen. Bored Ape, OpenSea, Doodles, Yuga Labs, please don't buy or trade these while I work to resolve. Darkwing84, looks like you bought my stolen ape. Hit me up so we can fix it. Oh, that's nasty. I read yesterday that somebody bought a Bored Ape for $200 because you're dealing with people who really don't understand the difference between a cheap coin and Ethereum. And people make a bid thinking you don't know anything on using a cheap coin that looks like you're getting double your price, $600,000, when it's really only an offer for $200. And they don't think, and they click accept. And it's a valid transaction. And that's one way to lose a Bored Ape. Now, how much were these things worth, Mr. Seth? Oh, boy. Highest offer, $106 for a Bored Ape. Gordon says, it blows my mind that something as simple as Doodle. 7546 went for 11. I find it phenomenally fascinating. Highest offer is 35 grand. Rice history. Now, it will be very interesting to see. Yeah, this Doodle. Invisible Friends is another one I just don't get. Very popular. Animated. But I don't get it. For that. $24,000 for this. We're the I is not even right. But I don't think the I is right on any of them. Now, it'll be interesting to see what kind of conversation Seth thinks he's going to have with Darkwing 84. Hey, yeah. Darkwing 84. Let's see if Darkwing 84 has anything to say about this. Street photographer, experimental photographer, all arts are my own. 4 followers. Doesn't sound like a very new account. Could just be here to fake people out. Oh, and doesn't look like there's anything there either. Ah, that's very funny. Okay. I don't know what kind of conversation you're going to have, Seth. It's going to have to be forcibly taken from Darkwing 84. But if Darkwing 84, I don't know, bought it from somebody and didn't steal it, and it's on the blockchain, it's going to be hard to revoke it because I don't think you can revoke it. What does Darkwing have on his OpenSea? That's interesting. Let's go look. Darkwing 84. We'll see if it's the same account. Darkwing 84. Let's see. 35mm collection, 9 items owned, floor price. Okay. Get rid of this. Okay, so this is not verified. It looks like there are 9 items for sale. But it doesn't show what that account owns, only what they're selling. That's weird to me. Items, owners. Now, my account, I have a Twitter account there, I have my Ethereum address, I have all that, and I'm not verified. Isn't that interesting? So there's nothing there. And we're pretty sure it's the same person. Buy now has offers, filter, collection results. Yeah, just a collection. See, mine has my Bulls F, my username, my wallet address, little bio, Twitter verified. Very weird. So, is anybody saying anything? Is Darkwing 84 speaking to Seth? A video, no idea. The guy has a Bored Ape stolen. Instead of this response, why not instead talk about why this keeps happening? Put your celebrity to use or keep getting fished. Yeah. I would like to know how it happened. Maybe it's related to this music spot thing. I don't know. But I do feel for Seth. That's a lot of money that he lost. Seth, please take down these pictures. You don't own them anymore. Ooh. Now that is raw as well. Watch out! Best not take pictures of anything you don't own. Now, isn't that a weird thing to say to Seth? Take down the pictures of the things that were stolen from you because they were stolen from you, and now you don't own them anymore. Wow, that's a terrifying logic. How would you ever get them back? One person says, I'm sorry, man, I'll make it up for you. And everybody says, how are you going to make it up? You have a few $100,000. Who knew Seth Green had $300,000 for a Bored Ape? Who knew he's working that much? And if he doesn't have that much money, then you can understand why he's panicking, because I'm sure he thought this was a long-term investment. But somebody got him. So here's an interesting thread. Oh, here. And Seth replied to it. Thank you so much. I read through your post, which encouraged me to both file a report and announce the thefts publicly. My favorite thing about this space is the community, and it's been comforting to get that response. Good. I like that. Now let's look at this thread. I got to see this thread, and then we're going to take a break because Twitch is going to force one on us. In light of recent phishing attacks, OpenSea, particular as it relates to stolen NFT, something happened to my son not too long ago. Okay. Where is the thread? This is the thread I want. Okay. As far as we can tell, this is a phishing attack. We don't believe it's connected to OpenSea. It appears 32 users thus far have signed a malicious payload from an attacker, and some of their NFTs were stolen. The attack doesn't appear to be active at this point. This is back in February. We haven't seen any malicious activity from the attacker's account in 2 hours. Some NFTs have been returned. Okay, double check you're interacting with actually OpenSea. Contact OpenSea if you've been ripped off. If you're concerned, you want to protect yourself, you can unapprove access to your NFT collection. That's true, but then you're isolating your entire thing and you can't connect with anybody. No one can see what your collection is. It's drastic. Importantly, rumors this was a $200 million attack are false. The attacker has 1.7 million ETH in his wallet from selling some of the stolen NFTs. So there you go. Welcome to our modern world where no one is safe and everyone is at risk. And now we're taking a brief blood pressure break. Back in a moment. And we're back from break. I'm David Bowles. This is Bowles.tv. BOLES.television. Checking my red marks on my face from being punched in the face with a sandbag this morning. Self-inflicted. Pounding sand. Oh, I was just checking the E6 group, and now everybody's furious. Oh, you lied to us all morning. I think they're trying to figure out what happened. And once you figure out what happened, and the call is coming from inside the house, you have to disconnect the phone and you have to fix things. So there's a reason you're not saying anything. So give them a break. I'm selling all of my NFTs that have to do with me because I can't trust this company anymore. A lot of people, thank goodness, are saying, well, we'll see you later. You don't want to be part of it, get out. And that I agree with. This is part of it. This is, people try to do terrible things and you try to fix them. That's why we have police forces and fire departments. Because bad things happen in the world. So we'll just wrap this up with Invisible Friends. This was big, is big. They have the blue check mark, so this is a verified account. And they're animated NFTs. And these are those that are for sale. So let's say Ethereum is 3,000 because it's easier for the math. This is like a this one is like $15,000 NFT. This too is a $15,000 NFT. I don't know if I'm old. I don't know if I think I'm better than everybody else. I don't know if I'm an elitist. I don't understand the appeal of these things. Because for me, I would rather see the face of the person. I would rather have invisible clothes rather than invisible friends. What is the point of it? I don't understand it. And if we go down the bottom, we'll see those that are selling for the big money. The really big money. Maybe not Bored Ape money, but big ape money. Big money for me. So here's one. 10 Ethereum. 30 grand for that. No cigarette, which I do appreciate. You pay extra for not having any vices. Oh, I guess this is an invisible friend with an eye patch. Is it an eye patch or a halo? We really don't know because we can't see the invisible friend. Okay, so now you get into why they're getting more expensive. A water gun, carrying a cat, smoking a pipe. Better. I like seeing a person. I like seeing the cat. So the more complex the cartoon is, I guess, or the animation, bouncing ball, the bottle of booze, the bouncing eyeballs, the more expensive. I guess. I don't know. I'm guessing. Oh, this is cute. An umbrella. So if that's where the cigarette is, where is the head? Is it, I guess it's going backward. Oh, that doesn't look right to me. Or maybe it's behind the person's ear. That's probably what's going on. It doesn't look like it's lighted because the lighted ones have smoke. See, there's no, the pencil's got to be behind the ear. Dragging a television set that is on fire. Okay. Gordon says behind the ear makes sense. I guess it does. It's so interesting to see what these big ones sell for, though. And then when you see these selling for 4,754 Ethereum, those are people being funny because, you know, they're never going to sell. They don't want to sell, but they want to appear that they're selling. So this one almost, I would say, is pretty near not being invisible friend. Like the Invisible Man, the movies. He's not invisible if you wrap bandages around him. Then he is the visible man with bandages because the mummy. Yeah, a lot of these Bored Ape things, these invisible friends, they love, smoking. Which to me seems out of phase. Now, why this one is so expensive, I don't understand. Gordon says, when I was a smoker, so glad I quit, behind the ear was a simple way to have one handy. Very interesting. You would think the oils from your skin or whatever would make it burn faster. But maybe the cool look is the more important thing. And we actually had kids in high school. You could not smoke. Everybody smoked. I did not smoke. Where they would take the Marlboros and wrap them in their sleeve to look cool. Like Jimmy Dean. James Dean, for those of you that may not know. So that was interesting. Now we're going in a different direction and talking about an old friend, a new friend, a reestablished friend, and old acquaintance. And I'm just going to call this person KG, because she is my friend. And she is also the friend of the monster in the other room, Jana Marie, sweetheart. And KG and Jana grew up together, really, in Council Bluffs, went to ISD together, and KG, I almost said her name, but she wouldn't care if I said her name. She's also on our Discord server. And our Discord server, she is Kathy Husker. So I should just call her Kathy Husker. That's what she likes to be called. Hey, Gordon says, I could never figure out the rolled sleeve thing. Seems more inaccessible to me. Think how long it takes to unroll the sleeve just to get the pack. And then to have to re-roll correctly. Well, Gordon, it's all about looking cool. I'm trying to see if I have anything that even looks like a cigarette pack. I guess I sort of do. And you have to have a short sleeve shirt, and it has to be white. I have one of them. So you put it here, right? That's your pack of cigarettes. Then you fold it up. Huh? Huh? Please, Gordon, you can't join my gang. I'm full. I've been punched in the face all morning. And now I gotta have a cigarette. It is a little binding. Put it back because I'm cool. What the heck? Suddenly, 500% cool. I would have settled for 50. But 500 is very big. And Gordon is talking in Ethereum, by the way, so I'm now a millionaire. But that was the look. And they would walk around school like this, the tough guys, with the cigarette. And the teachers would say, what is that in your arm? Nothing! And then they'd run out of the classroom and go hide their cigarettes because they forgot they were there. So our friend Kathy Husker is on our Discord server, and she would love for you to friend her or to go say hello to her because she's new to Discord and she's very active. She's also active on Facebook. And our friend Kathy has many interesting things going on in her life. And I'm trying to think of how to start this and where best to talk about this. For the last couple of years, with the rise of COVID, she has sort of been stuck in her apartment in Omaha. Didn't get the COVID shot until recently, and she wasn't very active because she was scared to go out and to get COVID. And she was scared to get the shot because she thought the shot would make her sick. So for pretty much 2 years, she just sort of stayed home. And she lives in an apartment building where they have access to food and services and lunch and if there's an emergency, there are people you can call on to come and help you. It's not assisted living, but it's like an apartment for older people. Although she's as young as Jana, which we know is 26 years old perpetually. So if you have a medical emergency, you need help, you can get help. And Kathy G is deaf and uses sign language. And she's also on Jana Marie's show. Donna is another deaf friend that's on the show, and they chat. Sometimes they take over the chat. And you just sit there with Jana Marie, waiting for them to finish, and then you continue on with the show. So for 2 years, Kathy, pretty much by circumstance, didn't move much, which caused some weight gain and caused her to have problems with her leg in the form of lymphedema and Lymphedema is a swelling of the lymph nodes that can cause a lot of pain and some trouble. But to go back just a step, Kathy Husker, KG, Kathy G, has shared on her Facebook page openly, publicly, one of the most fascinating and heartfelt stories that I have ever heard shared on any kind of social media. And she's not shy about that. She said, she sent me a video of something else that I'm going to show you. She said, use my pictures. Do whatever you want to do. And I said, okay, I will. Because I think it's important. And this video link is posted in a Discord server in Jana's area under successes. So Kathy G was born in Nebraska, so she is a Husker fan from birth, which is appropriate. Then they moved to Arizona, moved back because the family discovered that Kathy was deaf and in need of services, so we want to put her at ISD, which is one of the premier institutions for the deaf in the United States. But Kathy shared on her Facebook page a story that she had with her mother before her mother died about Kathy's Wardenberg Syndrome. And here's the medical definition of Wardenberg Syndrome. It's a group of conditions passed down through families. The syndrome involves deafness and pale skin, hair, and eye color. Broad nasal bridge, auditory nerves. Wardenberg syndrome is most often inherited as an autosomal dominant trait. That means only one parent has to pass on the faulty gene for a child to be affected. There are four main types. Most common are type 1 and 2. Symptoms may, not always, include a cleft lip, which is rare, constipation, deafness, more common in type 2, extremely pale blue eyes or eye colors that don't match, heterochromia, pale skin color, hair, eyes, partial albinism. Some people call it albinoism, but it's albinism. Difficulty completely straightening joints. Possible slight decrease in intellectual function. Wide set eyes in type 1. White patch of hair or early graying of the hair. Now, knowing Kathy, as I do tangentially through January for the last, 35 years, she's very proud of her gray hair that she received, white hair, at the age of 20. Wide set eyes, I don't know. Intellectual function, no. Straightening joints, I think she's fine. Pale color of skin, perhaps. Pale blue eyes, I don't remember. Deafness, yes. Constipation, join the club. Cleft lip, no. So these are the signs and indications of Wardenburg syndrome. And even way back in the 60s, you could test for it. And Kathy said that she had a conversation with her mother before her mother died. And this topic came up, Wardenburg syndrome. What is it? How did I get it? What happened? And her mother told her, said, look, the doctor came to me and said, look, we believe this fetus has Wardenburg syndrome. And if you want to do something about it, we need to do it right away. And Kathy's mother said, well, I believe it's 2 sons, and I've never had a daughter. And I'm going to have a daughter with Wardenburg syndrome. The doctor said, okay. And then her mother said that she was born, and it was the happiest day of her life. And so Kathy has grown in to the promise that her mother wanted for her to have a wonderful life be taken care of. And her mother got a job as a teacher at Iowa School for the Deaf and learned sign language to communicate with her beautiful daughter. So it was a heart-wrenching read to read Kathy telling that story about that conversation she had with her mother, which I believe she posted on Mother's Day recently. And all this talk we have about eugenics and purifying the people, and then you look at Kathy and you look at Kathy's mother and you say, well, what are these people talking about? All lives matter. All mothers matter. My mother matters. My daughter matters. Black lives matter. And here's a photo that Kathy sent me this morning of friends in high school. There's the delightful Jenna Marie Sweetheart. And this is maybe, 25 years ago or so? I don't know. And there's Kathy J right there. Kathy Husker on our Discord server and live with Jenna Marie on Saturdays and Sundays at 11 a.m. Eastern. And Kathy's fun. She's a wonderful photographer. I mean, Kathy, she could have been the greatest photographer ever. And in many ways she is. But if she had purchased the right equipment and done well, she could have really had a big name for herself. But she's very satisfied in taking beautiful pictures of her friends and sharing. Kathy G is also the instigator of the whole red glasses thing. And this is a more modern interpretation of Kathy Husker with her beautiful white hair. And the little odd-looking Jenna Marie over here with her similar red glasses. The two of them today, the two of them together back in 1999 getting their picture taken. Now, this looks to me like a drawing from a professional. And Jana says, no. I've asked her 3 times about this, and she said, it's not a person. We were at the mall, and we were in a photo booth, and we sat there, and we didn't know where to look. So we just looked up together, and the thing took the picture, and then it doesn't give you a picture. It gives you what looks like a line drawing of what the photograph could have been. And then it's imprinted over here, and then it's signed over here by the artist. Gordon says they have those filters at photo booths. I had no idea. I don't spend a lot of time at photo booths. But I have been at parties and events where they have free photo booths where you can go in there and have your picture taken. That's fun. I have done that. So Kathy G, for about a month, 6 weeks, was in the hospital in Omaha, not really doing well. She had terrible lymphedema, couldn't move. She went to the ER. They sent her home. The next day she was back. She said, I cannot get into my bed because my legs hurt so bad. I don't know what to do. So they just hospitalized her and put an IV in her arm permanently for 6 weeks. And she had a lot of guests and a lot of friends and slightly diabetic and trying to get, everything in control, and the loss of her mother, devastating to her, as we understand now why. And she's out of the hospital now, and while she was in the hospital, she got her COVID shot, which is fantastic. Now it's time for shot number 2. And she is in, I thought it was a rehab place, but they're calling it assisted living, where she goes and she exercises every day, and they are trying to figure out what's going on with her blood sugar. And last night she sent the silliest video that I'm going to share with you now. She gets her legs wrapped because of her lymphedema. She has to keep them elevated all day, and they wrap them, I guess, every day. And Kathy says it feels so good that she falls asleep. And the physical therapist then tickles her on the foot when she's done, saying, I'm done, I'm leaving now. So this is the 37-second version of Kathy getting her feet wrapped. And yes, it's sped up just a little bit. And I said, can I share this on the show? She said, of course, share it on the show. And so I am. And you can see that is a lot of work to get those legs. It's very tight, I guess, to really try to heal the lymphedema. And maybe another week or two in the assisted living. Hoping for the best. So that was the second leg that was wrapped. And there was the I love you at the end. Loved it! It's Kathy G for you. On our Discord server, lovingly known as Kathy Husker. Go tell her say hi. And you say hi and I say hi. Go tell her I said say hi. How about that? And now we're taking a very brief blood pressure break. We shall return momentarily. And we're back for break. I'm David Bowles. This is Bowles.tv. Stand up like a superhero. BOLES.tv, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. And Jana Marie, 11 a.m. Saturdays and Sundays, right here, live streaming for you. Well, just to put a final touch on that previous conversation we had about Wardenberg Syndrome and really how important it is for doctors and patients to be able to sit down and have an open conversation about the life and status and feasibility and viability of a fetus. And then decide together what path to take. Legislature should not be involved. Courts should not be involved. This is a conversation that needs to be had between a woman and her doctor. And there are people who think, oh, no. If the fetus isn't perfect, if the fetus is not perfect, then the woman's just going to discard it and start all over again. New piece of paper. Get rid of it. Bring it on. Start all over. And that is not always true. There are people who believe all babies are fine. Children are a gift from God. You don't reject God by rejecting the child. So that's the job of the doctor. Say, look, this, and this is what's happening. What do you want to do? We'll go through each step to discuss what you think is best. And then the mother makes the decision, and that's the decision. And it either works out or it doesn't work out. And even these perfect babies that everybody wants to have, that doesn't mean they're going to be perfect. They might have all their fingers and toes, but they have a terrible personality. And then what are you going to do? So it's very dangerous to decide the status of life based merely on a test or a doctor's opinion, because maybe that doesn't matter to you. Maybe no matter what happens, you're just going to go through with it and see what happens, because that's what life is. I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. I don't know what the next 5 minutes are going to bring. So just let it happen. And speaking of the courts, this was a big shocker yesterday when it popped up in my newsfeed. I couldn't believe what I was reading, and I haven't really heard it reported anywhere. Dire consequences. Justice Gorsuch, that Gorsuch, sides with liberals, what? Against Justice Amy Coney Barrett's majority opinion in an immigration case. Gordon says, when both my brother and I were born, my mother first counted our fingers and toes, just to check. Not like she was giving us up if we were under or over. Exactly right. It's a beautiful, warm story. And I think what every parent would do, just to check. The U.S. Supreme Court on Monday ruled against immigrants seeking judicial review of mistakes and errors made by immigration agencies, not even immigration courts, but by administrators. In a 5-4 majority opinion, Justice Amy Coney Barrett wrote that federal courts are categorically barred from considering such issues. Wow, now that is harsh. It is no secret that when processing applications, licenses, and permits, the government sometimes makes mistakes. Justice Neil Gorsuch wrote in a passionate dissent against Coney Barrett. Often they are small ones, small errors, a misspelled name, a misplaced application. But sometimes a bureaucratic mistake, not even a judge mistake, a court mistake, a bureaucratic mistake, administrative mistake, can have life-changing consequences. Our case is such a case. Joined by Justices Stephen Breyer, Sonia Sotomayor, and Elena Kagan, the liberal left, Neil Gorsuch. Neil Gorsuch castigated the sweeping nature of the majority's decision and its fealty to the administrative state. Wow. That's big and really, really shocking, because people who hope and pray for this nation are thinking that it's going to be Brett Kavanaugh that maybe might just teeter over on the left side just a little bit once in a while. Nobody I've ever spoken to or read to has said that Neil Gorsuch is ever going to write a dissenting opinion with the liberals. Today, the court holds that a federal bureaucracy can make an obvious factual error, one that will result in an individual's removal from this country, and nothing can be done about it. Neil Gorsuch's dissent notes. No court may even hear the case. It is a bold claim promising dire consequences for countless lawful immigrants. In the case stylized as Patel versus Garland, Pankaj Patel, who lived in the country for 30 years, accidentally ticked the wrong box on a driver's license application question about his citizenship status in Georgia. Peach State prosecutors initially pressed charges, but later determined they lacked evidence to prove a crime had been committed. Whew. Notably, his incorrect checkmark didn't have any bearing on his request for a driver's license, because under Georgia law, he was entitled to one, even though he wasn't a U.S. citizen, because he had filed for a green card and had a valid work permit. Well. The Department of Homeland Security rejected Patel's green card application on the basis of a statute barring immigration status adjustments to anyone who falsely represents himself to be a citizen of the United States to obtain a benefit under state law. And none of this moved the immigration judge. Gorsuch writes, he said he did not believe Mr. Patel's testimony that he checked the wrong box. Instead, the immigration judge found Mr. Patel intentionally represented himself falsely to obtain a benefit under state law. According to the immigration judge, Mr. Patel had a strong incentive to deceive state officials because he could not have obtained a Georgia driver's license if he had disclosed he was neither a citizen or a lawful permanent resident. But the immigration judge was incorrect. Patel followed up and said exactly as much before the Board of Immigration Appeals. And this is just, in some ways, refreshing and frightening that Neil Gorsuch is siding with liberals. What does that tell you about conservative America? It does not matter if the BIA, an immigration judge in Mr. Patel's case, erred badly when they found he harbored an intent to deceive state officials. Gorsuch said. It does not matter if the BIA declares other individuals ineligible for relief based on even more obvious factual errors. On the majority's telling, courts are powerless to correct bureaucratic mistakes like these, no matter how grave they may be. Gorsuch goes on to note that tens of thousands of such rejections are handed out by agency officials each year, and argues that Amy Coney Barrett's opinion will almost surely end all that and foreclose judicial review for countless law-abiding citizens, individuals. whose lives may be upended by bureaucratic malfeasance. Now, that's a story. And this has been a very interesting live stream where we start with the deceit and the angst and the pain of the Me6 bot, and we end with Neil Gorsuch defending immigrants at the border. And in between, we celebrate Kathy G and her beautiful life. What else do you want from a show? Plus, I punched my face with a sandbag and lived to survive. If you have any questions or comments, you can reach me via email, david@bowles.tv. If you have a question for Jana Marie, you can find her in email, jana@bowles.tv. On Twitter, we are at David Bowles. Facebook is regular old Bowles. Instagram, Bowles Books. TikTok is Bowles TV. And if you want to find me or Jana Marie or Kathy G, you can go to our Discord server. We're slowly but surely getting there. And you will be safe. I'm very careful about what I allow and what I don't allow. And so far, so good. Gordon says, hey, speaking of punching faces, that one person who you said will punch faces that went to the hospital won the primary, seems. Yes. Be careful. When I yell here, my microphone closes me off because it doesn't want yelling. And I appreciate that because I do follow some live streamers who don't have that compression technology. And when they yell, you can hear it everywhere in your ears. So what it does is it just closes me down. So I have to be very careful with what I say. Fetterman, love the guy. Now he has to have a pacemaker implanted, which is fine. Dick Cheney had a pacemaker, 50 years, replaced it 2, 3, 4, 5 times, just fine, doing great. I'm not worried about it, but I love John Fetterman. I think he's a big superstar. Now, are people going to give him a hard time because he had a stroke? And it was his wife who saved him. He had trouble speaking, and she recognized it right away and called EMS, and they took him right to the hospital and gave him medication immediately that dissolved the blood clot and saved his brain and saved his heart function. And he's had AFib for many, many years, so he knew that something like this was always possible, and so did his beautiful wife. And now he's going to be okay. And I'm so glad that he is now the pick to be the Democrat senator from the great state of Pennsylvania. We really need him. We need his attitude. We need his way of life. We need his 6'8" frame out there punching back against the bad people. But not Neil Gorsuch today. He can punch Neil Gorsuch later, metaphorically speaking, because today Neil Gorsuch is on the side of the right, which is just fabulously amazing to me. Maybe there is hope for us all after all. I don't know. So I hope you have a nice nap. I hope you have a good day and a restful evening. And whenever it is that you shall awaken, may your soul be filled with joy and anticipation and a sense of fun and longing for things you have and things you wish to accomplish. I will see you tomorrow.